Hey guys, Buff and Game Bat today bringing our video. Today we're going over Season 3 tactical weapons to use with Rebirth Island Resurgence, which launches tomorrow, or if you're watching this video, it's already out, depending on the day. So April 3rd is when Season 3 launches with Rebirth Island for Resurgence. So we're going to go through some of the current loadouts that I'm excited to use tomorrow, or depending on when you're watching this video, that I would be using. We'll probably be doing potentially a live stream tomorrow for some Rebirth. We'll have to wait and see. But wanted to go through some of these loadouts that I'm excited to use, give you guys some suggestions of things, because we haven't visited Rebirth Island since Modern Warfare 2019's Warzone. So we have a whole new batch of weapons here, which should be pretty cool to use on this map. So jumping right into it. Go through some of these ones that I'm excited to use. First off is an SR25 build that I think should be pretty good in this mode. Again, you have a lot of spots like the bell tower, grandma's house, other places to use a lot of these loadouts. So the SR25 is one, or the Mark 1, or the M110, either whatever one you prefer, is a really good build. So we're going to run the Chroma LRS Integral Suppressor. Again, this is going to give us really good damage at range, recoil control, just an all-around really good barrel. Again, it's a little bit better than the Outreach as far as just getting recoil control and velocity. With the Outreach, you're going to get a little bit more effective damage range and minimum damage range, depending on that barrel. But again, you'd have to use another attachment for a suppressor. So for this one, the Chroma LRS, you get the integral suppressed barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one. We're going to run the OLEV laser on that. The Luca Bandera scope. This is a good 3.7 to 8 times LPVO. So this one, clean reticle on there, especially with that OLEV laser, you get a little bit of a red dot depending on how far you are from your target. Very small glint, but again, this allows you to utilize it in like closer to medium ranges if you need to, and stretch it out a little bit. So that's a really good optic that I'll be using on this. Gonna run the Socom ZX grip. Again, this is gonna just give us a little bit extra recoil control. You could swap this out for an attachment. And then we're gonna run this grip here from Modern Warfare 3 is the Kimura vertical grip. So this is gonna give us good recoil control all around. Just a little bit of horizontal is what we're gonna lose out on. So we're gonna get good recoil for the gun kick and vertical, and then a little bit increased horizontal. But again, this weapon doesn't really have too much horizontal, and kind of the way I run this, this is something I'm willing to sacrifice. So this is our M110 or our SR25 firing 7.62 by 51 millimeter. Definitely looking forward to trying this, or some variation of this build. You could definitely swap out some attachments, but I think this is going to be a really good build to use on this map. So that's our SR25. Now I'm pairing this, again, the old Modern Warfare 2019 Classic with an MCX Virtus with the M13B. So again, on this one, I'm running it unsuppressed. For Rebirth modes or Resurgence modes, I have been running more unsuppressed lately. So we're going to run the Extend Havoc 90. This is the best muzzle brake, in my opinion, for the 5.56 for his recoil control. So you get 23% horizontal, 11% vertical, and gun kick. And then for the laser, that VLK 7 milliwatt, we're going to run the hammer sight. So we have the 4.3 and the top mounted RMR, 60 round mag on the 5.56x45 NATO, and the phase 3 grip here. Again, this is just going to give us subtle recoil control, so 2% across the board, and you take a little bit hits to the movement speed, things like that. But again, this weapon itself doesn't have that much recoil, so this is a good addition to the weapon. So you can see that's our MCX Virtus or our M13B. Go ahead, let's jump into firing range with these ones, just so you guys can see how they handle. So our SR25. So you can see, this is like perfect for these ranges. Up close like this, very easy, especially if we're going against plates. And then you can even stretch it out, obviously. That's 75 meter. But typically, I would be spam firing this medium ranges most likely, especially on Rebirth. Otherwise, I'd put a larger scope on it if I really want to stretch it out. Then here we have the MCX. Again, old reliable here pretty much. Always a good weapon there, the MCX Virtus or the M13B. Go ahead, back out, check out one of the other ones. So this is a good one. Again, brings me back to the Modern Warfare 2019 days on Rebirth. Gonna run a Mark 46. So this is with a 200 round belt. This is actually a really good build that I think this is perfect for mounting when you need to. Again, bell tower, grandma's house, some places where you really need suppressive fire. Gonna run, obviously it's the Mark 9 Bruin or the Sauce. We're gonna run the Spitfire suppressor, standard suppressor, gonna give you good recoil and damage at range, velocity. Gonna run the Horizon barrel. This is the Mark 46 barrel. Gives us best recoil control for the weapon. And you get a little bit bullet velocity increase. Now this is a really good optic here. This is the 80K 4x RQ9 Recon. Give you a 4x optic with no glint on it. So you get very few cons with the aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. But again, you get a clean 4x optic with no glint. So that's a really good bonus. 200 round belt, the 5.56, and then we're going to run the bipod foregrip on this thing. So again, this is used for suppressive fire, just putting lead down range. That's our Mark 46. Really nice looking build there. And again, this is just meant to just throw bullets at people pretty much. We're going to pair that with an MP7 A2, kind of replicating somewhat of an A1 here. Try to get the right vertical grip on there. Got to run the Extend Black Knight suppressor. That's going to give us good recoil, 7% across the board, a little bit of bullet velocity increase, 7mW laser, aim point optic. Going to run the 60 round mag, and this vertical grip here, the Bruin pivot vertical grip, going to give us 16% gun kick. Going to give us vertical control of 12% and a little bit increase at 4% horizontal. But again, with this thing where you're using this in close quarters ranges, really not an issue. So that's our MP7. Let's go ahead and jump into the firing range with these ones. MP7. Obviously, those are probably not... This range here is even stretching this out a little bit too much. Here's our Mark 46. The good thing, again, you can mount this with a bipod grip. And then it's very, very accurate. 200 round belt. Now that 10 meter range for the MP7 is probably like the max range I would really want to use it. Obviously you could put it out like this, but you're expending too much rounds. So within 10 to 15 meters is kind of where I would want to use this thing. Really nice. That and the Mark 46, going to be pretty good weapons to use on Rebirth Island. Next up, a nice one is a SCAR pairing. So we're going to run the Mark 16 along with the Mark 20 SSR. So the Mark 16 is a TAC-55, or the TAC-56 is a Modern Warfare 2 gun. Got to run that Spitfire suppressor again. Then we're going to run the aim point optic. The combat grip here for recoil control across the board, 7%. 40 round magazine with 5.56 by 45 NATO, and the Op X9 vertical foregrip. So that's our Mark 16 or the SCAR Light. Really nice looking build there. You can also swap that suppressor out for a laser probably. And then the Mark 20 SSR. Again, this is going to be used kind of the same way I would be using the SR25 I showed. Spitfire suppressor, long 20-inch barrel, that same 4x recon optic, so you don't get a glint. 20 round mag of the 6.8 Creedmoor, and the bipod vertical foregrip. So looking at that, again, a Mark 20 SSR. Go ahead and jump into the firing range with these ones. Take a look at how they handle. So the Mark 20... Typically, if I'm stretching this out, I'm going to be mounting it. But for these ranges right here, that's pretty good. This longer target, I would be mounting for sure. And then our Mark 16. Again, a really reliable build. You can even throw a 60 round mag on that if you want to. Very accurate. Reliable, slow rate of fire, so it's easy to control. So that's our Mark 16 and our Mark 20 SSR. Next up, the RM227. Now, you can pair this with any weapon, but this I've been trying to find a good build for this that works well. So we're going to the Cronin SPDR suppressor, give us good recoil control. You're going to take a hit to damage at range, but again, this is kind of a CQ build. We're going to run the Bruin heavy support grip, 50 round drum mag, the Socom ZX grip for 7% recoil across the board. And then we're going to run this SZ battle optic, which one of my favorite optics on a lot of the weapons. I feel like it really helps you, especially with this gun, keep your shots on target just because of the nice, clean green reticle. So this is our RM277. Go ahead and see how this handles. Now, you can pair this with whatever. I have it paired with a sniper here. I'd probably swap it out for a DMR. But again, this weapon is a difficult weapon to find a good build with, for sure. Even this is kicking a little bit too much vertically than I would like, which is why it's really more of a close quarters weapon. Like these 20, I would say like 20, 30 meters max is kind of where I would want to be using this mostly. And then that's where I'd have a DMR so I can have better fire consistently at the longer ranges, because you can see there it's just kind of bouncing a little bit too much, which is very unrealistic for how this weapon handles in real life with the recoil. If you guys watch Grand Thumb's video. But again, these medium range, close to medium ranges are very good. So that's our RM277. I think that's a decent build. I'm looking forward to seeing how it handles on Rebirth in those situations. Next up, Parasa. Again, this is a pretty standard build. This is pretty similar to the one I got my first Warzone one on here in Modern Warfare 3. Spitfire suppressor, the Bruin 18-inch barrel, that same CZ battle optic, the Tor 56 stock, and the Lockwood precision grip. So again, this is going to be something you can carry, a mobile machine gun. Again, nice and light, good ergo on this thing. This is going to be good for the close to medium range fighting for sure. And then pair it with a sniper rifle for the long range targets. But you can see here, I mean, your mobility with this is good. ADS is good. This is a good close to medium range option with a 100-round belt. And then again, you can pair that with a sniper rifle or a DMR. That way you have that ability to one-shot headshot or at least put more shots on target. Next up is SR25 Delta variant. So this is a cool combo here. The SR25 Delta with a 458 Socom. I'm using these kind of opposite, but the Delta SR25 is a close quarters variant. Gonna run the TY LR8 compensator on there. So that's gonna give us horizontal 27%, 8% gun kick, vertical at 7%. Gonna run the short barrel. Again, this is gonna boost our ergo a lot. You're not taking a huge hit to the recoil, and the damage range obviously goes down, but again, this is close quarters, so we don't really care about any of that. OLEV laser, aim point optic, and the Lockwood precision grip on this. So this is a clean looking Delta variant of the SR25, again, built for close quarters. And I always have really good luck with this, specifically in DMZ, and a little bit, again, I think it'll be perfect on Rebirth Island, kind of like the old FAL was, the DSA-58 that I used to use on Rebirth. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing with that. Next, I'm using the 458 Socom M4 as a DMR. So I'm switching these up, kind of like I used to use it in Modern Warfare 2019. So the FTAC Reaper suppressor. And again, we have a cool blueprint skin. The Watchdog skin gives you a wrap suppressor on this, which is awesome. So again, you can see recoil across the board, increase in bullet velocity. That's going to be good. The long barrel here, so we can stretch out the ranges 20% and 9% for velocity. Going to run the DS Farsight optics. So we get a 4 to an 8.7 times magnification. Clean little red dot in the middle there. Small glint, not a big deal. 15 round mag of the 458 Socom. And that vertical grip again. So we're only taking a little bit hit to horizontal. But again, I'm using this in pretty much close to medium marksman ranges. Really not meant to stretch this out longer. This is kind of, the Delta SR25 is close quarters and the 458 is medium. So you can see here, I would even maybe switch this out with that SC battle optic that I was using, just because the red dots with this, it's a little bit easier with a circle reticle to keep shots on target. Especially when you're rapid firing this thing, because basically you want to spam fire this close quarters to get the kills. Now the 458 Socom, again, this is, keep this, you can't go full auto with this, but definitely does more damage in semi. This is, again, close to medium. I'm really not going to be stretching this out long unless I'm mounting it. And even then, it's just kind of peppering people. I'm not trying to down them at those ranges, but pretty much here, medium ranges like this. Should be fun to just see how it handles. Again, you could probably even try a different reticle or an optic on this. Probably a different underbarrel just because we're taking a little bit too much vertical recoil on that or horizontal. But again, decent. I think it's going to work out pretty well. And the Delta SR25 is just a beast. So I think this thing's going to work out really well. If you have a good trigger finger on this, it's going to down targets really quick. So that's Delta SR25 with the SR or the 458 Socom. Next up, one more I think is a good pairing is the NG7. So I'm pairing this with a Rattler. The NG7, Socom MG38. This is a Modern Warfare 2 gun. We're going to run that Spitfire suppressor. Again, good recoil and around the board. We're going to run the Bruin 20-inch barrel. This is going to give us 9% recoil and effective damage range increase. OLEV laser, the TX4 Havoc optic is going to give us a 4 times magnification. Small glint on there. But again, it's a clean reticle. And then the Bruin Warrior grip for max recoil control and aiming stability. So this is our NG7. And I'm pairing that with a Rattler for close quarters. So again, the Rattler M13C, the Echoless 80 suppressor. So you can see there, it's just going to give us, not going to affect our recoil. ADS speed goes down, but it's going to increase our velocity, which this weapon desperately needs because of the 300 blackout. VLK 7 milliwatt laser, aim point, 300 blackout over pressured rounds, and then the Lockwood precision grip for the Rattler. So again, this is close quarters. 300 blackout, over pressure to increase target flinch. So that's really what that's meant for. I think that'll be a cool pairing. I'm really excited to see how the Rattler handles. And again, this machine gun, similar to how we would be using the Mark 46. This is kind of a little bit more mobile version. But again, firing the 7.62 by 51 NATO, I think the ability to mount this when I need to, and also on the go, I mean, this is just going to be devastating. You can see how quickly it's killing 3 plates. The range and recoil is very good on this. And then when we need to close quarters, we have the Rattler 300 blackout. And that's just going to do its job. I can definitely see this just being effective in grandma's house, holding like the staircase or anything like that. Like close quarters, this thing's devastating for sure. You don't want to stretch it out beyond, I would say, that 20 meter. Even that 25 right there is max range for this thing for sure. Especially with this barrel on here. But you can see, I mean, it's a very fast on the kill. So that's the Rattler and the NG7. There's definitely some other builds here that I have. You can see I have a 103. I have a Bren 2, which should be really good for close quarters as well. We have the FN Evils with the Chris Vector, should be nice. And then a Mark 17 with an SR25. So let me know what you guys think of all these. What do you look excited to use here for Rebirth Island? Let me know your thoughts down below. And again, I might be doing a live stream tomorrow. Otherwise, hopefully we'll get some nice videos out for you. So let me know your thoughts down below, what you're going to be using on Rebirth, what you're going to be using for Season 3. Till next time, this is Buff Nerd Gaming. Tactical Weapons for Season 3. Buff Nerd Gaming. Out.